And that's something that differentiated you between other, CEOs, was that you're very hands-on, like with Godel, and then with your pharmaceutical companies, you've been very hands-on, whereas most other CEOs tend to not be as experienced in that or versed in that field.
Yeah, that's true. I do think that every CEO should be able to do the job of most of their employees. Clearly, that's not the way kind of the world works, or the way most people do it. In software, there's a huge difference from pharma, where in pharma that's almost never the case. But in software, the most successful software companies in the world were started by programmers, and sometimes they're started for their own benefit. But Microsoft had two very talented programmers as founders. Google, of course, had two very talented computer scientists, et cetera, et cetera. You don't see that much in pharma. Art Levinson wasn't the founder of Genentech, but he was credited for transforming Genentech, and he's a bench scientist. Regeneron is another company that did that really well, but most of the big pharma CEOs are quote-unquote professional managers, which, there is a skill of management. It's a real thing, but, good management is quote-unquote, are people that make things efficient, make sure things are running compliantly and on schedule and things like that. And really, it's an important role, don't get me wrong, it's very important, but it's also, relative to pure talent, is one is a lot easier to get than the other. And it's very inspiring to employees, even if you have a jerk of a CEO who's maybe not a good quote-unquote manager that inspires people and makes them feel really great. Sometimes the genius jerk phenotype or archetype can be a successful CEO, and Steve Jobs comes to mind there, as does Bill Gates and Steve Ballmer. Those guys were not friendly. Of course they could be, but most of the time they're just irate and pissed off about something and wandering around the company being a jerk. Elon Musk as well. But sometimes those people are still very inspiring because they're really, really good at what they do, and that inspires the colleagues to say, wow, I can't believe I'm working with such a smart group. This person is so demanding. It's not like any other job I've been at. That's what most people say it's like working with me. I've never worked at a company like this because it's just so damn hard to make Martin happy, because he expects so much. And at other companies, I'd be a star employee, but right now I'm worried about getting fired because my competitors in this company are so good. So anyway,
Yeah.
you gotta do it intelligently. I mean, you can't be too much of a jerk. You can't be too much of a nice guy. There's plenty of people who are just do that amorphous, very hard to pin down, like, why is this person a good CEO? Why is this person a good leader? You ask yourself, like, it seems like such a soft skill, but it can be really, really important. I mean, inspiring your people to put in their best in a job where at the end of the day, like, for a lot of people, the work-life balance, especially at a bigger company, it's really skewed towards life, not work. If you work at Microsoft, or you work at Salesforce.com or Amazon, these are the kind of jobs you take when your work-life balance is mostly in the work column. I'm sorry, mostly in the life column. And you work at a startup if you want it to be mostly in the work column, because you can make a lot more money. But you can get more guaranteed money at a place like Microsoft or Google or Amazon. And some of those places you can get the best of both worlds, of course. But at an Intuit or a mid-sized sort of company, an Uber or something like that, they'll pay you well, your job's not going anywhere, and you don't really care that much about the company at the end of the day. It's not your lifeblood. You can always go find another job. So a talented CEO finds a way to get all of those people, which are the bulk of the company's employees, finds a way to get those people excited about their job, finds a way to get those people pumped and just a little more productive. And if you can get those people 10, 20% more productive, you're a great CEO. And your job isn't to be personally good at anything other than that. Your job isn't to program, your job isn't to do sales calls, your job isn't to, make a new drug. That's not your job, that's somebody else's job in the company. Your job, when you have thousands of employees, is to make them functional, make them work really well, and be a good spokesperson for the company. And that's
the
why
computer keep the machine running.
Yeah, and hire, make it a good place that people want to come work and want to, come work with you and things like that. And, when you get to that high level, management is just such a very different job. That's why a lot of founders aren't very good at managing larger teams. Anyway.
Right.
Take a quick break here, and then maybe I'll do some OpenAI stuff.
And to your point about work-life balance, I mean, it goes to show you that if you want to be like a Steve Jobs or a Bill Gates, you really have to pick one or the other. It's either going to be work or your life. And if you want to have like a family and stuff like that, then you're going to be making a trade-off. And
Ain't that the truth?
say that again?
I said, ain't that the truth? It's such a difficult thing to do. I have a lot of friends in this position. Okay, let's see here. We got some spicy sacrifices going on here in chess. Not sure if this queen move was really good in blocking the F pawn, but this is very spicy. Oh wow, here we go. Did you guys think that was a good sacrifice? Or a little reckless? Anytime I can make the opponent's king move, I kind of like it. And here I got an extra pawn back as compensation, so it's 2 pawns for a knight and making his king move. Pretty good.
That's good. It's good value.
Yeah, I think.
Knights or kings up. He's really exposed too. He's got no pawns in front of him.
Oh, it's a mess. I wouldn't want to be the white player right now, but if he can get a trade down, it'd be all right. So now he's kind of screwed because this is an easy. This is a bad pin. In fact, I think after this, more or less toast.